Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another Nancy Drew playthrough. Today I'm going to play Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. This wound up being one of my favorite games after I'd first played it. I remember thinking, oh no, do I like this game more than Treasure in the Royal Tower? I'm really not sure about this, and felt very conflicted, but in a good way. I really enjoy the setting of this game. We're going to spend a lot of time outdoors. For me, I always think of this as like a camping game, even though we're not camping. Something about being outdoors, out taking those trails, that just makes me feel like I'm at a campsite, and all that time on the lake as well. Because so often when I've gone camping, it's on a lake. So I'm looking forward to playing this because it feels like camping season. At least here in BC, a bunch of our provincial campsites have just opened up, so this feels like the right time to play this game. So that's what I'm going to do. So let's begin.
Welcome to my latest case, Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. To start playing, choose either Junior or Senior Detective. If you're new to adventure games or need some help, choose Tutorial.
Okay, I'm selecting Senior Detective.
Dear Ned, remember Sally McDonald, the woman who took those photos that Dad has up in his office? Well, she just bought a house in Moon Lake, Pennsylvania. A gangster named Mickey Malone built it back in the 20s as his country getaway. We're talking major fixer-upper. Anyway, last night Sally called and she said she desperately needed my detective skills. She refused to say why over the phone. Naturally, I said I'd drive to Moon Lake immediately. But weird things started happening the moment I pulled up. First, this big tree fell down behind my car and has me totally blocked in. And then I discovered that Sally's gone. She left a note that suggested something terrible happens here at night. She's supposed to call me from her car. So here I sit, writing to you while I wait for the phone to ring. It's nighttime, and although part of me is dying to know what frightened Sally away, another part of me is starting to feel a little uneasy. I'll let you know what happens. Ever yours, Nancy.
Uh-oh, it says ring, and the phone's not ringing. There we go.
Hello?
Nancy, hi, it's Sally. We have to talk fast because I'm in my car and my cell phone's running low, so we might get cut off. But did you see my note?
Yes, are you all right?
No, I feel awful bailing on you like that. You must think I'm such a flake.
I'm just worried about you. What's wrong?
I couldn't stand the thought of spending another night there. I knew you were on your way, but it didn't help. I just got too scared.
What's to be scared of? It's so peaceful and quiet here.
Just wait until it gets dark. Then you'll see. What am I saying? Nancy, you shouldn't be there by yourself either. Why don't you just go get in your car and go home? Or drive to Philadelphia. My aunt's got plenty of room.
No way. You got me so curious, I wouldn't leave even if I could.
What do you mean?
Let me put it this way. Unless someone who just happens to have a chainsaw just happens to come by, my car's not going anywhere.
Oh, the dead maple beside the driveway. Oh, they told me it was in danger of falling over when I had the place inspected. I just never got around to doing anything about it. Listen, call M's Emporium. That's a store on the lake. Emily knows everybody. She'll know who to call if she decides to answer her phone.
It's late. Won't the store be closed?
Where's my brain? Okay, look. I just bought a little outboard motorboat. I haven't used it yet, but the guy who put it in for me said it should run just fine. It's tied up at the dock out front. Just get in it and go. Go anywhere. Just get away from the house.
I just wanted to point out the, oh, where is my brain line? Because that comes up a couple of times in this game, and I think in subsequent games. I really enjoy that line. It gives me a good little chuckle.
I can't just take off in your boat. It's pitch black outside.
Then listen to me. Go around the house and lock all the doors and windows. Do that right now.
There aren't any locks on the doors and windows. What are you so afraid of?
The dogs! Those dogs! Out of nowhere. They're outside howling and snarling. Teeth and claws. Horrible.
Dogs? Hello? Did you say dogs? Hello?
Well, there's our introduction to the game. And it's not over.
What is that?
Let's go investigate. A weird sound.
Something's out there.
Now look what you've done. That was a Strixvaria. At least I think it was. Never know for sure now, will I?
I'm sorry, but you startled me. What are you doing out here?
Birds. I'm trying to look for birds. What are you doing out here?
I'm Nancy Drew. I'm staying in this house, and I heard a lot of weird noises, so I came out here to investigate.
That was me, Miss Nancy Drew, calling in birds. And doing a pretty good job of it, too, till you showed up. Where'd you come from, anyway?
I drove in today from River Heights to visit my friend Sally McDonald.
Now, why would you want to do a thing like that? The Malone house is no place for one young woman, let alone two.
You've met Sally?
I talked to her a couple of times. But you know, the last time I saw her, she wasn't doing so good. She acted real anxious, scared.
Did she say what was wrong?
The dogs. The dogs of Mickey Malone. Legend goes that when Malone was finally arrested and hauled away, his 4 dogs went running off into the woods and were never seen again. People would just hear them, howling like their hearts were broken every night until one by one, they all died and went silent. But every time someone tries living in the Malone house, back they come.
What a neat story. Ghostly, spooky, but rather than like human ghosts, it's ghost dogs. I think it's a really imaginative story.
Are you saying Sally's house is haunted by ghost dogs?
Every night, ever since she moved in, you could hear them howling. And some nights the dogs would appear outside the house, running around, snarling and barking and throwing themselves at the doors and windows. And then they'd be gone. They're buried in the cemetery just beyond the house, you know. Them and Malone both.
The dogs would attack her house?
It's like they don't want anybody but Malone living there. I guess they don't know he's dead. And so are they.
Did they ever attack Sally?
She never gave them the chance. After the first attack, she stopped going out at night. Just locked the doors when it got dark and sat tight until morning.
Why haven't the police investigated?
This isn't New York City, Miss Nancy Drew. All they got around here is one officious little park ranger. And all Jeff Akers does is sit around all day trying to figure out how he can get himself transferred out of here to a bigger park.
Are you a native of Moon Lake?
I just come to Moon Lake in the spring to look for birds. Got an observation platform just up the path, kind of my base camp, and I've got a little outboard down there on the lake. Left my car at the big dock up lake. Don't really need it.
Are those the ghost dogs?
Yes, ma'am. Which is why I think it would be a good idea if I went my merry way and you got yourself back inside that house. Good luck, Miss Nancy Drew.
That howling moment is just so effective at setting the spooky mood. And then this music starts. Oh, it's done so well.
This is not good.
Let's make it morning. Less scary. The first time I played this game, when we see the scene of the dogs and the third dog comes up right in front of the window, I do remember being very startled by that. And every time I've played it since, I don't understand why, because it's not very quick, like it doesn't feel very sudden. Maybe it's because I'm anticipating it, but I don't find it startling anymore. Might need to call Sally, but I'm gonna just look through everything here first. No water and missing faucet handle. Handy dandy map. Flashlight. Oh, Sally. I love this old rotary kind of style phone. It's not actually rotary, but it looks like it.
Hey, Sally, it's Nancy.
Nancy, did you see them? Did you see the dogs?
Yes, I did, and I can understand why you left. They were pretty frightening. But if it's okay with you, I'd really like to stay and get to the bottom of whatever's going on. That's why you asked me here in the first place, right?
Yes, but Nancy, are you sure?
Positive. Consider Detective Drew officially on the case.
I wish I were even half the trooper you are, Nancy. I have such high hopes for that house. All the beauty there, the wildlife, all the pictures I was going to take. It would break my heart to have to give it up.
When was the first time you saw the dogs?
I heard them the very first night I was here. I heard them almost every night, howling in the distance. But I didn't actually see them until I'd been here about a week. After that, they started appearing pretty much every other night.
I'm going to point out how she stressed I heard them, because the question Nancy asked was when she first saw them. So I really like that, because I think this answer is given for either of the two options I could have chosen before this. But I really like that she stressed heard, because it works well for either question that was posed. Very good voice acting is sort of the point I'm trying to make. It means the voice actress understood the dialogue, knew what the options were and what she was responding to, so she made it applicable to both of Nancy's choices. Not every bit of dialogue in this or other games is as good as that, so I just wanted to point it out. It's important, I think, to compliment and point out good work.
When they appeared, did they always do the same thing?
Yes, come to think of it. They always came running up to the house, barking and snarling. They'd lunge at the windows, they'd jump up on the door, they'd run around and bark some more, then they'd run off. What are you getting at?
These attacks seem to involve a lot of choreography, which reinforces my theory that you're not being randomly attacked by a pack of wild dogs, but by dogs who've been trained by someone determined to scare you out of your house at Moon Lake.
Who would want to do that? My closest neighbor lives 2 miles away. My property is surrounded by the state park, but it's off-season, so hardly anybody is in the park. In fact, I bet I talked to a total of 3 people the whole 4 weeks I was at Moon Lake.
Which 3 people?
Let's see, the park ranger, I forget his name, kind of a pain in the neck. Emily Griffin, she's the one who owns that store I told you about. And I ran into this bird watcher a couple of times. Had a funny name.
Red Knot. I've run into him too.
Other than people I may have nodded hello to while getting gas or something, I swear those are the only people I've talked to at Moon Lake.
What about River Heights? Can you think of anyone there who'd want you to sell your house at Moon Lake and move back to River Heights?
You mean like an angry ex-boyfriend or something? Nope, I sure can't.
Since I'm going to be staying here a while, is there anything I should know about the place?
Well, let's see. I've got the water turned off because it's well water and it needs to be tested before I can use it for anything. In fact, if you could get that testing done for me, I'd really appreciate it. Oh, and watch where you walk in the living room. Some of the floorboards are so rotten you could fall right through. And I keep hearing these faint squeaks and rustling type noises coming from below the floor. I hope you're not scared of mice.
How do I go about getting your water tested?
Try the ranger station on the east side of the lake. I've been told you can get some kind of kit there.
Who did you say I should call about getting rid of that tree?
Emily Griffin. She doesn't bother answering her phone sometimes, so don't call her. Go see her. Her store's on the west side of the lake. And brace yourself, M's Emporium is something else.
How well do you know her?
I feel like I've known her all my life. She's so open and friendly. She likes to make it sound as if Moon Lake used to be a major hangout for criminals and degenerates, which isn't really true and irks some people around here no end. But I figure she's just trying to make a buck.
I don't think it's phrased the same way, but this first sentence makes me think of when Bess is talking about Yumi in Shadow at the Water's Edge. I think she says that she feels like she's known her whole life. And then she goes on to characterize her a little bit. But yeah, my brain just went there.
I'm curious, why did you characterize the park ranger as a pain in the neck?
I left part of a ham sandwich on a picnic table once. Big mistake. From the way he carried on, you'd think I just made the FBI's 10 most wanted list. I don't think he likes me. Emily says it's because I wrecked his dream of becoming super ranger or something when I bought the Malone house instead of the parks department. Me, I think he just basically has a problem relating to people unless they're asking questions or breaking the law.
Talk to you later.
Thanks again, Nancy.
Okay. So a couple of things I can start by looking at here.
It's stuck. I need some sandpaper.
Look at this plaque by the door. So swans are summer. Should probably write this down. I do have all these notes, like really detailed notes I'd written, practically walkthroughs years ago when I used to moderate the message board, but they are not kept with my games. There wasn't enough room in the same box as the box that contains my games, and they are in a tub in a crawl space, and I don't really feel like getting down there. Anyway, so spring is going to be green leaves. Nah, I do have to write this down. Who am I kidding? Just thinking about all the other things that are going to come up. Okay. Leaves. I should say green leaves. Would be spring. Swans. Would be summer. Deer. Autumn. And then birds that are not swans for winter. Okay. I guess, I mean, I don't have to do this, but for anyone who's curious, that and those dogs in the cupboard relate to the clock here. Swans. So that's helpful to know, actually, that they're facing the back. They are swans, so I'm actually going to jot that down right now. The clock has to reset itself. There we go. Let's go up the front door. I'll take this little path. Climb a tree.
This must be Red's observation platform.
Climb back down the tree. I'm not going to go to the boat because I know I have to bail it out. Maybe gone too far. Well, that works. Here's the pump, which is not going to work. And that's fine, I'll prime it afterwards. I don't need to do that just yet. Although I am here, I might as well. That will release water. Can you learn to prime the pump at the ranger station?
I don't need water right now.
Correct. I do need the bucket. Doesn't that just look beautiful? Makes my heart soar.
The boat's full of water.
Bail it out.
The spark plug is missing.
Plus, nil, down, plus. Plus, no. Down. Plus, yep. Those are fine. Just need a spark plug, which I will get in a while. Go check out the shed while we can.
A face only a gnome could love.
Yeah, garden gnomes I find are usually pretty creepy.
Oh, the key broke off.
Normally that would be really unfortunate.
It's locked.
But handy dandy screwdriver gives us an alternate way into this locked bin. Okay, that's all we need here. There's that tree. But we don't see Nancy's car. Must be hidden around here. Although I don't know how she'd get around this pile. Yes, her car is not around.
Those look too rotten.
Mm-hmm. This will be locked. Okay, time to explore. Second piece of wood.
You better be careful.
So I pretty much have this memorized. This is like all muscle memory. And around here where I think I go one more. No, I don't. It's this one after all. Okay, so let's look at these tombs, I guess, these gravestones for the dogs. So Vinus was born in February, which would be winter. So Vinus is associated with winter and therefore birds. Xander, born in August, which would be summer. Which is Swan, which means the clock, his dog doesn't move. Iggy was born in November, that would be fall or autumn. Iggy is associated with the deer. And then we have Lucy, the final one, born in April, which is spring, and leaves.
Looks like paw prints.
Mm-hmm. Mickey Malone's tomb, presumably. Tomb, would you actually call it a tomb, or is a tomb actually buried underground? I don't know. Back to the house, down this way. Let's not actually step over here, because that would be bad. There we go. Yes, we're on floorboards, but if you go here to read it before you've put the floorboards on, you fall through. Not a helpful note. Okay, so swans are facing back, which is Xander, so Xander is going to stay put. If I move Lucy see what happens to the clock. Okay. Check the next one. Birds. Lucy is leaves. Okay, but birds will be Vitus. So I can now move Vitus to face that same way. Now Lucy's moved to the front. Okay, so we now know that's Vitus. So Lucy, you're facing the front, you're deer. That's Iggy. And Iggy, I believe we cannot move. So Iggy's stuck, we need the sandpaper. But we now know Lucy is going to face in that direction. So it's just Iggy who has to be moved. So, I don't think there's anything more I can do at the moment. So, let's change it to night. Love this track, by the way. Sort of jazzy and...
The moon's so bright, I won't need my flashlight.
Jazzy and kind of mysterious. It's a cool track. Oh, you hear the ghost dogs howling.
It's Miss Nancy Drew.
Does that mean you'd like me to call you Mr. Red Knot?
All right, then. Hello, Nancy. Now put a muffler on it, would ya? I just heard a cerulean warbler.
Really? Are they rare?
Something tells me they're gonna be with you around. You didn't come up here to chit-chat, did you?
Do you know much about outboard motors?
Sure do. Only type of motorized vehicle that's allowed on Moon Lake. Heck, if it were up to me, I'd ban them too. Have everybody get around by canoe. Nothing like the threat of physical activity to keep tourists away.
Oh boy, I'm not even going to touch that one.
Why don't you like tourists?
I came to see birds, not people. The more people there are in a forest, the fewer birds there are. It's a fact of life. Reason I like to come here is because nobody else does. It's perfect. Not a decent grocery store, restaurant, or motel for miles.
It does sound idyllic. Like I would love to spend time out there. It just sounds beautiful and wonderful and calm.
There's no place nearby that sells boat parts? Sally's outboard is missing a spark plug.
I might be able to help you out. After all, I was a Boy Scout. Be prepared.
But I don't want to leave you unprepared.
Well, just so happens I've got 2 spark plugs right here in my pocket. Question is, if I give you one, what do I get for it? I don't need cash, but maybe you could take a few pictures for me. Know how to use a digital camera?
This feels so old now, because now the question would be, do you know how to use the camera phone? Although, I don't know how many people use digital cameras anymore. I certainly do. I hate camera phones for taking nice pictures. People seem to think that they replace actual cameras. They don't. The quality is actually crap. You can't blow up a photo or an image from a camera phone. They're going to have to stay small in order to not look grainy and pixelated or blurry. Stick with real cameras, people. They're the best.
Sure. What would you like me to take pictures of?
Birds, of course. There's a couple of birds I'm supposed to take pictures of for PEPSOB. That's People for the Preservation and Study of Birds. You can recognize them by their songs, which are on this tape, which you can play on my cassette player, which you're going to have to get from M's Emporium as soon as you get your boat fixed. Think you can handle that?
I know I can.
Here's everything you'll need.
Brilliant.
M's Emporium is up lake on the west side. Not that I'm trying to get you out of my hair or anything, but try not to come pestering me till you're done, okay? One more thing. You smoke?
Greatest line ever.
Only when I'm on fire.
Oh, you're a spunky one, aren't you? Well, these woods may not look it, but they're tinder dry. One lit match, and the best bird habitat on the East Coast will go up in smoke. So watch what you do, because if anything like that happens, I won't be looking for birds anymore, I'll be looking for you. Watch yourself out there.
That all seems so much more serious to me now because of climate change, and in BC we've had really horrific fire seasons. In our spring and even our winter have been pretty mild, and I'm hoping that means our summer won't be too hot either, and hopefully we're not going to be as concerned with forest fires this year. But I mean, you hear about this every summer, raging fires, be it in BC, Alberta, California, other countries, other continents. Like it's such a problem. Yeah, scary. Forest fires terrify me. Okay, time to sleep. And now let's get this outboard working. No, put in the spark plug first, Nancy. There we go. What am I doing? That's how you do it. And I already have the life vest. I shouldn't drown. That just looks pretty. What an interesting little shop.
Hey there! Welcome to M's Emporium. I'm Emily Griffin.
My name's Nancy Drew. I'm staying out at the old Malone place. You know, the house Sally McDonald bought?
Now what's she doing inviting guests out to that old dump?
I meant to point this out and then I clicked and it was kind of too late. But I liked that just before this piece of dialogue, Nancy had 3 choices for how she wanted to start her conversation with M. And I really like that. I like that we have choices, and we often, at least in these earliest of games, get 2. Like right now, we have 2 options. But I find it extra nice when there are 3. Just that extra bit of autonomy that we have. It's quite nice.
As it turns out, I'm there by myself. The dog scared her off.
I told her. I said, Sally, that old house is gonna be nothing but trouble. And sure enough, Malone's hounds have come back. Just when we all thought they were finally resting in peace.
Have you ever seen the dogs?
Nope. Don't want to, neither. Just hearing them howl's bad enough. Scares the bejeebies out of me.
I got the bejeebies scared out of me twice last night. Just before I saw the dogs, I caught a man named Red Knot prowling around outside the house.
The bird watcher. Comes in every so often to stock up on that weirdo food he eats. You know how them tree hugger types are.
Has he been in the area long?
About as long as those pink-billed warblers and purple-eyed owls he's always chasing have been around. Couple of months, I guess.
Mr. Knott did me a favor, and in return he asked me to pick up a cassette player from you.
Oh yeah, I got it right here. Thought maybe the old coot had forgotten he left it here. What else can I do you for?
I need to get the water from Sally's well tested. How would I go about doing that? Do you know?
Just get a water testing kit from the ranger station and follow the directions.
Where's the ranger station?
Just up lake from Sally's on the east side.
Why would there be a problem with the water?
'Cause it's well water. And seeing as Malone dug that well 80 years ago, what gets pumped out of it could be pretty funky.
These so-called ghost dogs left very real paw prints. I saw some near the cemetery that's by the Malone house. Have you ever been there?
Can't say as I have. Poking around cemeteries ain't exactly a hobby with me.
Does the name Waldo Matthias mean anything to you?
Can't say as it does.
I think that, well, I know that only came up because I happened to look at his tombstone at the cemetery.
Where do you find your...
Achoo! Bless you. It's all the dust. Sometimes I think it grows on this stuff.
Some of those old bottles are beautiful. Where'd you get them?
Found 'em. See, back in the days of Prohibition, That old Malone place used to be Party Central. Only way to get to and from back then was by boat. And when those boats dumped, on account of bad weather or bad driving or the feds suddenly showing up, well, everything from diamond necklaces to full bottles of illegal booze sank to the bottom of the lake.
Yeah, I can just imagine what's buried down there.
So it's finders keepers, huh?
That's right. See, recovering objects from the lake bed is illegal. According to Squeaky Wheel Acres, dragging the lake for artifacts was upsetting its delicate eco-balance. So thanks mostly to his constant squawking, the state banned it.
And that's important, that when you're putting, I mean, that would be in some ways putting stress on an environment. It's going to change the environment, including the animals that inhabit the area. We have this wetland, small piece of wetland in the town I live in, which I don't know how many years ago, I wasn't living here at the time. I guess the district decided to revamp it and make it look kind of nicer. They put like a little island in and dug around it, so you have this sort of nice loop of a creek, you could say. But all the birds left. It used to be full of red-winged blackbirds. You used to see them all the time going to and from school in the summer, or in the spring and fall, and you'd see them in the summer. I don't know if they've even come back since they did that. So yeah, when you interfere with an environment, be it for something you think is positive, it can have these negative consequences. So this is actually a really serious thing that they just sort of bring up casually, but really important to note, especially these days when we're talking about climate change and risk of extinction for animals. Like you look at the red list, a lot of wildlife is becoming extinct because of human impacts. So I really want to point that out. I think this is something that's very, very important. It's becoming, I think, more real to people now as things continue to progress in a really negative way. So yeah, just thought it was important to sort of highlight that since it came up. Anyways, moving on.
Squeaky Wheel Acres?
Jeff Akers, local park ranger. I keep telling him all this stuff washed up on shore. But does that snobby little stickler for rules believe me?
Sounds like you aren't real fond of Ranger Acres.
Jeff Akers could take all his precious rules and regulations and take a flying leap. Now, I got nothing against getting more customers in here, mind you. But I kind of like Moon Lake the way it is. Small, quiet, out of the way. But Jeff Akers, why, there's nothing he'd like better than to see all the lake and all the property around it turned into one big, noisy, jam-packed state park.
Why would he want that?
He's the type of guy who likes to boss people around, makes them feel important. So if the park got way bigger and was crawling with tourists, why, instead of giving out maybe one ticket for littering every 2 days, he'd be giving out 12 tickets every 2 hours. He'd be in heaven. Well, hey, I'm sure you got better things to do than getting your ear chewed off by yours truly.
There's a large tree blocking Sally's driveway. Do you know of anyone who can come out and clear it away?
I'll get Tucker Davis to take care of it. Gotta warn you, though. Tucker tends to do things in his own sweet time.
I need to buy something.
You want it? I got it. As long as you pay cash, that is.
Right now, cash is kind of a problem for me. Do you think we could do some kind of trade-out?
You scratch my back, I scratch yours, huh? Seeing as how you're a friend of Sally's, and seeing as how I got some things around here that could use doing, I guess we could work something out. What is it you need?
And I forgot to talk to Red Knot about this. I could have, when I spoke with him last, he ended the conversation. Nancy didn't get a chance to say goodbye. I should have approached him again, because then I could have, actually I don't know if I could have asked him about the sandpaper. I might have had to have this conversation first. Well, I might be fine.
Do you sell sandpaper by any chance?
I do, but Mr. Birdbrain was in last week and cleaned me out. Said he was tired of that observation platform of his giving him splinters in his hinter regions.
I've played this game so many times that it's easy for me to get ahead of myself. So no, actually I wouldn't have been able to ask Red Knot about the sandpaper, because even though I know he has it, Nancy in the game at that point, didn't know.
I've disturbed him enough already. Would anyone else around here have some?
He's your only hope. But you better ask him for it quick. That deck of his is pretty big, and those squares I sold him are pretty small.
Guess I'll see you later.
Always a pleasure.
That's Brady Armstrong back there. Oh, Cocoa Kringles. Okay, that's all we need to do here at the moment. Let's go meet Jeff. Take a look at the ranger station, which I think is set up pretty nicely. Yeah, it just looks really cool. I love all these posters with facts. Like, it's very realistic, it's authentic, which is one of those things that makes these games, again, these earliest of games at least, really great. All these details. And I'm assuming they're accurate. Yeah, I love all of the time that was put in to create these elements that are not necessary to complete the game, but they enrich the game. They give it more life. Yeah, I love this board here. It's just, it's so cool. I really appreciate all the efforts that were made into this, made to make this game. Don't actually have to go through this. Had to buy this. No good. The one thing, oh, there we go, priming a pump. So this is why Nancy poured water from the water bottle into the top of the pump earlier. And this picture is important. So I believe that's Lucy, if memory serves. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, let's talk to Jeff Akers.
Hello, can I help you?
Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. I'm visiting Sally McDonald. Are you the park ranger?
Park Ranger Jeff Akers, at your service. Let's see, Sally McDonald is the woman who bought the old Malone place.
That's right. Only she's gone back to Philadelphia. Malone's dogs got to her.
Don't tell me she believes all that ghost dog stuff.
Here we go. So another instance where we have 3 options for how to reply to this, which is great.
I saw them myself.
Whatever's out there, I'm sure they're no more and no less than exactly what they look and sound like. Dogs. Living, breathing, very noisy dogs.
Why do you think dogs would attack Sally's house?
Dogs can be trained to do almost anything.
Any idea what would make a dog's eyes glow yellow?
Something in their diet, maybe? Some oddball vitamin or protein.
As a park ranger, don't you want to know for sure what's behind these dog attacks?
Do you always ask this many questions?
Yes.
Sorry, it's my nature. But would it be okay if I asked a few more?
I'm a very busy man, Miss Drew, but I am here to serve the public.
Do you have something I could use to test the well water at Sally's?
Sure do. Simple to use, too. Just pump some water into this vial, return the sample to me, I'll send it off, and in a day or 2 you'll find out whether or not your water's fit to drink.
Perfect.
Does everyone out here have a well?
Everyone who doesn't want to die of thirst does. Hooking up to a municipal water supply is out of the question. Too expensive.
Yeah.
This place isn't exactly your ordinary ranger station, is it?
It's also the Moon Lake Post Office, and it's the unofficial Moon Lake Museum of Factual and Natural History. I've lived here all my life, so I can't help but feel obligated to protect not only the area's flora and fauna, but also its past.
Which is apparently rather colorful.
As a member of the law enforcement community, I prefer to dwell on the positive aspects of history instead of on the activities of a bunch of glorified thugs.
I like that description. Oops.
So you'd probably like to see the old Malone place torn down and forgotten.
Not necessarily. It's hard to ignore its potential as a tourist attraction. And if that's what it takes to draw more people to Moon Lake, I'm a reasonable man.
As an officer of the law, can you think of anyone who might want to scare Sally off her property?
The woman who owns the shop across the lake? Emily Griffin? I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure she's been dragging the lake in front of Malone's house for artifacts, which is illegal. It would be a lot easier for her to do her dirty work if nobody was living there.
What do you know about the cemetery behind the Malone house?
People are buried there. Beyond that, what's to know?
Is Malone buried there?
That's the rumor.
The inscription on one of the tombstones reads Waldo Matthias. Does that name ring any bells?
Not in my steeple.
And I looked at a couple of tombstones, and that's the only one that gets asked about. And I mean, that's because it actually serves a role later on, but I do think that's kind of weird.
Would you mind mailing this letter for me?
Not at all.
Would it be okay if I looked around?
Please do. And if you have any questions, any more questions, just ask.
Thanks for all your help.
Always a pleasure. Oh, and one last thing. The deer mouse population has boomed this year, so please take precautions if you're cleaning out any area where they may have nested. They can carry some nasty diseases.
Thanks for the tip, Ranger Acres.
Okay. So now, I mean, there's more I could look at, actually. I don't know if I have to look at this, but it kind of is important for something later on. Now, I want to test the well water. I was really tempted to go change it tonight to get that sandpaper from Red Knot, but no. Deal with this first. Do what we can in a single day. Put my bucket back first. Okay, there's my sample. I'm going to leave that full of water because I'm going to need it later, and if I don't have to fill it, that saves me some very critical time.
You're back.
I have that water sample. What do I do with it?
Just give it to me, and I'll take care of it.
Thanks for all your help.
Not a problem.
Every time she says, thanks for all your help, the way she says it, my brain goes, and thanks for all the fish. Which is from that stupid movie, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I probably offended someone by saying that was a stupid movie. I didn't care for it. And I know it's based on a book, which I haven't read, but that's the only thing I remember from it. And thanks for all the fish. Oh man, it's terrible. It's terrible that that's what comes to mind. And it's every time I play this game. Okay. Oh, I guess I can take pictures now. I don't normally listen to these. I'm not going to. Can I? No, I might have to.
American goldfinch. Northern cardinal. Red-tailed hawk.
I think I saw one of those like last week.
Western tanager.
I've seen a bunch of tanagers here. They're beautiful. They're all yellow, and I think it's the males at least have a splotch of red on their head. They're a very colorful, lovely looking bird.
Here, birdie, birdie, birdie.
Goldfinch looks like a tanager. Except there's no red on the head, but from a distance. Reminiscent of a tanager. I don't think there are any more on this side. So, I don't remember which ones you can take pictures of right away.
I must have scared it.
Not the cardinal, apparently. Beautiful bird. I wish we had them around here. But we don't. No, that's the sound I've heard a whole bunch. And a robin. Yeah, robins are easy to take pictures of. I've done that a bunch. And the tanager goes down this way. Yes, there we go, with the red splotch on its head.
I must have scared it.
A gorgeous bird. Okay, so now that should be everything I can do during the day. Let's make it nighttime. Again, there's that cool, groovy, jazzy track. The top to red.
You find all the birds?
I found some birds, but no matter how quiet I am, I've been scaring other birds away before I can take their picture. What am I doing wrong?
You're wearing those clothes. That's what you're doing wrong. You need to blend in, like me. Go back over to M's tacky tourist trap and get yourself some camouflage gear. Only sensible thing that money grubber carries.
M's Tacky Tourist Trap. I love it. I often forget it's called M's Emporium. I think of it as M's Tacky Tourist Trap.
I'm sorry to keep bugging you, but I need some sandpaper. Emily said you might have some.
Here, take it and scram. I was just about to call in a meadowlark. That was always Ruth's favorite.
Was Ruth your wife?
Good heavens, no. My wife had no patience for birding. Ruth was my dog. Border collie. She'd hear a meadowlark, and by golly, her ears would perk, and she'd cock her head, and she'd just come as close to smiling as ever a dog could.
Do many people around here own dogs?
Not really. Most people don't bother. The place is surrounded by park land, and Ranger Acres just loves enforcing the leash laws. There it is again. Take your sandpaper and go sand something, okay?
Okay. Happy to. Oops. There we go. Can I go over here yet? No, I can't. Oh, Iggy.
It's stuck.
I know. Turn you to face forward. Good thing I grabbed that flashlight. You can see the seam here. Let's put this gear on now.
It could be mice making that sound.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a tiny hole.
Being me. There we go. You can use either the pen.
Combination.
You can use a pen or a pin that you eventually get to unblock that hole.
William Akers? I wonder if he's related to Jeff Akers.
Seems a reasonable suspicion. Harry Houdini. How beautiful. Pop out looking at the stars. Okay, that's all we need to do this evening. So we're gonna switch days again already. We kind of speed through the days in this game. It's a lot of back and forth. So now, we need to go see both Jeff and Emily. Let's start with Jeff. Otherwise I am more likely to forget to do this. I'll go to Emily first.
You're back.
I found a newspaper dating back to 1927 in Sally's house. Since you're kind of an expert on the history of Moon Lake, do you mind if I ask you some questions about Mickey Malone?
Not at all.
What do you know about a man named William Akers?
I know that he was Mickey Malone's right-hand man. I also know that although we share the same last name, he and I are most definitely not related.
Liar. Or denial.
I found this old picture in Sally's house. Do you know who these people are?
The man is Mickey Malone, I know that. I'm guessing that this is his girlfriend, Vivian Burnett, I think her name was. And judging by the year of that brand new Ford in the background, I'd say the picture was taken in 1928.
She was probably as familiar with Malone's house and his dogs as he was. Think there's any chance she's still alive?
Tell you what, Miss Drew. Why don't I go through my files and see what I can dig up on this mystery woman? I'm a busy man, but like I always say, I'm here to serve.
He does stress that a lot about how busy he is. He really could use an assistant.
Have you gotten the results back from that water sample I left with you?
I meant to call the Department of Health today for a status report, but frankly, I've been way too busy.
Sounds like Moon Lake could use 2 rangers.
If I were in charge of just 10 more acres of parkland, they'd give me an assistant, and I could devote more time to the acquisition of more land and eventually put Moon Lake on the map as one of the biggest, most popular parks in the state.
Why didn't the Parks Department buy the Malone property instead of Sally?
She outbid them, the cheapskates.
Well, if those dogs scare Sally away for good, other people are bound to think twice about buying the place. The bank will lower its price, and you'll have your land.
You're insinuating things again, Miss Drew.
I didn't mean to insult you. In fact, is there anything I can do to help you out?
Tell you what, if you're serious about making amends, there's some boxes by the computer labeled with dates. They're from the estate of a local history buff. She kept everything from newspaper clippings to old photos to recipes for apple crisp. She put everything in envelopes, then numbered them by year using Roman numerals. Just put the envelopes in order by year with the earliest date in front. Oh, and if you're rusty on Roman numerals, there's an entry on them in the computer.
So I've seen this a few times, and these are always minor things, and I kind of circled it with my mouse a few bits of dialogue back. But he had said, there's some boxes, which is grammatically incorrect. because that would be there is some boxes. Is for singular. You would say there are some boxes, or there are some boxes. And that's what's written. It's written the correct way, but the voice actor said it the wrong way, and it really irks me. I mean, it was written properly, and people and not knowing the rules for speaking English just drives me crazy. It's so easy, and yet so many people do it wrong.
I hope I don't get distracted. Apple crisp sounds good right now.
Don't go reading anything until you're through, or take my word for it, you'll never get finished.
When and why was Malone arrested?
I'm sorry, Miss Drew. As usual, I'm a little pressed for time. If you have more questions, why don't you sit down at the computer and peruse the Moon Lake database of fascinating factoids that I've put together?
What happened to Akers and the rest of Malone's gang after he went to prison?
Fortunately for Moon Lake, they all left and went their separate ways.
I've been trying to take pictures of birds for this guy named Red Knot. Ever met him?
Oh yes, the Birdman. I'd stay away from him if I were you.
Why? Is something wrong with him?
He's a fanatic. He's got it in his head that Moon Lake would be the best bird-watching venue in the world except for one thing. Too many people. Believe me, if there was a way to get this park shut down and all the homes on the lake torn down, he'd do it in an instant.
I think that's funny he calls him a fanatic, because I think you could characterize Jeff as being a fanatic about trying to make the park bigger. So, it's kind of funny.
Thanks for all your help.
Not a problem.
Thanks for all the fish. Oh man. Hi, pup.
You're back.
I noticed you have a dog.
That's Yogi, who never goes out unless he's on a leash. Park rules.
That's voice acted really well. I like that pause.
Do you have any other dogs?
I hope you're not suggesting I trained Yogi to run around in the middle of the night barking and attacking houses.
Thanks for all your help.
Not a problem.
Okay, so time to
Let's see.
organize
Jeff
these.
said the envelope with the earliest date goes down in the front of each box.
Which means you go to the very bottom. Okay, you are 15, which means you go here. You're 13, you're at the bottom. You're 4, you go there. What is that? That's 47. Goes over here somewhere. You're 45, so you go up here. You're 8. Go there, you're 41. You're 11. You're 25, so you go here. You're 70, is that right? I think so. And you're 14. Check these first. 1900, 4, 8, 11, 14, yes. Oh no, 14. You go over here. You are 10. There we go. Okay, 13, you're at the bottom. 15, 17, 14, 19. Okay, that's fine. Here we have 41, 25. So 25, 32, 41, 60. Oh. For you, I can't actually see what you say. 39. I don't know if I picked up there. 39. 41. It's 41. It's 45. Okay, that should be correct. So what do we have here? Oh, you're going to be whatever's at the end there. Your 51. What did that say? 60. Come on. There we go.
Now that they're all sorted, I can do some reading.
Find me some apple crisp. Here we go. And do you think I can see what that date says? I know it's January. These bloody boxes in the way. Does it say anywhere else? Yeah. Well, we'll have to look that one up. Because my recording box blocked the date. So very irritating. Okay, so go over there and use some plan. Let's have a little chat.
Howdy, Nancy.
I found an old newspaper in Sally's house that contained an article on Mickey Malone. It really got my curiosity going. What else can you tell me about him?
Person you should talk to is Jeff Akers. He's got this historical museum thing going out at that ranger station of his.
To make a long story short, I need some camouflage gear.
Got some right over here. One size fits all. But I'm running kind of low on bait. So if you go out and get me, oh, say a dozen little critters, I'll give you the camos.
You got a deal. So, what kind of bait do you need?
Worms, spiders, beetles, grubs. Anything that wriggles on its belly'll do. Just look under stuff. Rocks, logs, dead leaves. Should be able to find 12 in no time.
Hunting for critters isn't illegal, is it?
Things ain't quite that bad around here. Least not yet. Now, if Jeff Akers' daddy was still around, you might get arrested for cruelty to animals or some such nonsense. Joe Akers used to be the deputy sheriff. Real critter lover, that one was.
Joe Akers is Jeff's father?
That's right.
So she says that in a way where it sounds like, oh my god, I know who Joe is. But I don't think he was mentioned in that newspaper article. He doesn't come up until, I think Nancy reads William Akers' journal. So that
Guess
was
I'll see you later.
not great.
Yodelay-hee-hoo.
Nancy should have been able to respond to that slightly differently. Okay. We'll get some critters, but we're also going to open that safe. Oops. Is there any down here just yet? Yes. Are they worms? Comic gear. already looked into this, so January 29. Of 32. Yep, deer mice.
I bet those were deer mice.
Mm-hmm. Just like I said.
Speakeasy.
The dogs will lead the way.
Joe Akers? Emily said Jeff Akers' father was named Joe. Maybe Jeff is related to William Akers after all.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
The dogs will lead the way. I wonder what that means.
Well, we'll figure that out soon enough. Okay. So, next, I want to go and look for more critters. See how many I can get during the day. It's a giant sucker. Yeah. Puts me at 5. Let's see.
Here, birdie, birdie, birdie.
I'm not looking for birds at the moment. Here we go. 6. Can't remember if it's an even split of 6 in the day and 6 in the night that you pick up. I have a feeling it may be. Shouldn't be able to look under rocks again, no. One other place I'm going to check is the cemetery. I think these might just be at night. Okay. So we're going to change the day again, or we'll change the time again. Why do I feel like I need to talk to Red? No. No. Let's get me some bugs. Oh, jeepers, did that twice. Glowworm. Just need 3 more critters. One more, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. What one have I forgotten? God, that's terrifying. Anything out this way? Let's go this way instead. Oh. That was unexpected. Nothing here. Come on. Oh, trying to get that rock. No. I think it's one in the daytime. I forgot. I know I checked these already, but while I'm here, I might as well check again.
Those look too rotten.
For some reason, I was thinking I could check there, even though I know I can't. No, where am I missing? 3, 9, 11. Unless my box here is blocking one, but I don't think so. I was counting as I was going. Okay, daytime. Let's check again. No. Okay. I'm gonna ignore those other rocks. I'll come back to
Here,
them.
birdie, birdie, birdie.
Nope, nothing there. There we go. Last worm. Okay. So now I can take these to Emily.
Hey, Nancy, how's the bait finding coming along?
12 big, fat, juicy ones, just like you wanted.
Well, now, you done all right for a city gal. Here you go. Hope whatever you're hiding from won't catch you. How you holding up?
Any word from Tucker, what's his name? He hasn't been by to move that tree yet.
I'll give him another call. But like I said, the man marches to the beat of another drummer. A very slow drummer.
Do you know anything about the gold that Mickey Malone supposedly buried somewhere on his property?
All I got to say about it is, if there really was a bunch of gold buried somewhere, and nobody ever found it, it's for darn sure nobody ever will. Not with them dogs up there.
Guess I'll see you later.
You betcha.
Okay, and now to talk to Jeff about a couple of things. Well, hopefully a couple of things. Certainly we've been talking about his parentage. I'm hoping we can be talking about Vivian and the water sample. No yogi.
Good news. I have information on your mystery woman.
You are incredible, Ranger Akers. What did you find out?
Her name these days is Vivian Whitmore. She lives in Las Vegas, and her number is 9137.
Sorry to bother you again, but did those results from the water test come in yet?
There's something here for you from the State Department of Health.
Oh my gosh, not only is the water bad, but it seems like the well may have been contaminated deliberately.
I appreciate that there was a bit of a pause before Nancy made that statement. It gives you time to actually read it yourself. In other games, some of her reactions I find are just too quick. You don't get a chance to figure it out first.
I wouldn't go jumping to conclusions without proof, Ms. Drew. I'm sure there's a far less melodramatic explanation.
Where's Yogi?
In the run, out back. Even out of sight, he's under my full control, as park rules require.
What do you know about a man named Joe Akers?
Why do you ask?
I recently found out that William Akers had a son.
All right, all right. William Akers was my grandfather.
And you don't want anyone to know that.
It's not exactly something I'm proud of. My father spent his whole life trying to make people forget what my grandfather was, and trying to make sure people who didn't know what he was never found out. I've been doing the same thing.
That's kind of sad. Understandable to a degree, but sad.
Did William Akers ever say anything about the cemetery behind Malone's house?
I'm afraid you're going to have to excuse me, Miss Drew. In case you've forgotten, I'm a very busy man.
Okay. Before I deal with the pictures of the birds, I have a phone call to make.
If you're selling something, hang up right now. I got an air horn in my hand that could deafen a dinosaur, and I'm not afraid to use it.
Oh, no, please. I'm not selling anything. Believe me. Is this Vivian Whitmore?
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You got exactly 5 seconds to state your business.
My name is Nancy Drew. I'm calling from Moon Lake, Pennsylvania. I just wanted to ask you some questions.
Oh, right. The Moon Lake Park Ranger said you might call. But you have to talk fast. An old friend of mine is flying in today from Florida. And when I say old, I mean old, as in 5 years older than I am. Don't bother trying to do the math, sweet stuff. You'll hurt yourself. So, that ranger fella said you found an old picture of me.
I love Vivian Whitmore. I think she's hysterical. She is one of my all-time favorite phone characters.
That's right. I found it in the cellar of Mickey Malone's old house on Moon Lake.
Moon Lake. Talk about your fond memories. I had a lot of fun there. Although I wasn't anywhere near as wild as most young people were back then. But I think Mickey kind of respected me for that. I was his gal for 5 years. He always kept birch beer on tap at that speakeasy of his just for me.
Tell me about the speakeasy.
It was in the basement, right there at Moon Lake. Feds never knew about it, but everybody who was anybody on the East Coast back then, actors, musicians, bankers, politicians, they knew. You weren't big time unless you'd made at least one trip to Moon Lake Mickey's.
That's weird. I'm staying in his old house on Moon Lake, and I haven't seen any sign of a speakeasy.
Course you haven't. You're not supposed to. Only Mickey and Willie knew how to get into the speakeasy from the house. The rest of us had to go in and out the regular way, through the cemetery.
Who's Willie?
The guy who ran the speakeasy for Mickey.
Did you say people would normally enter the speakeasy through the cemetery?
There was a lock hidden in one of the tombstones in that little cemetery behind the house. You needed a key to unlock it, and when you did, stairs would appear that led to the speakeasy.
How cool, man. So cool.
Do you have any idea how to get into Malone's speakeasy from the house?
I sure don't. That saloon was built using two main ingredients, concrete and secrecy. Mickey always bragged that nobody could get in unless he wanted them in, and I do believe he was right. But I'll tell you what, if you send me that picture of me and Mickey, I'll send you my key.
The key to the tombstone? You still have it?
It's in the bottom of my jewelry box. I've come this close to throwing it out 100 times, but it's so small, and the memories it brings back are so big. Well, I just couldn't, as a joke. Mickey had a tombstone made with the name of this federal agent who had it out for him inscribed on it. That's the one the key unlocks.
William Akers, the guy you call Willie. He wrote about looking for the gold that Malone had supposedly buried on his property at Moon Lake. Do you know anything about that?
The hole in the floor gold heist. Well, I'll be darned.
That was the name Akers used, too. What else can you tell me?
Truth be told, when Mickey told me he was the one who pulled off that heist and that he'd buried 20 gold bars at Moon Lake, I didn't believe him. I thought he was making it up. See, Mickey and I were on the outs by then. I thought he was just trying to entice me to come back. But if he told Willie the same thing, maybe there's something to the story after all.
Did he ever say anything to you about a map?
Yes. He said he was making a treasure map and that... the dogs. Something about those dogs of his.
The dogs will lead the way?
He was always saying that. In fact, I'm pretty sure he had it engraved on his tombstone. Think, Viv, think! He said he was making a treasure map, and that he was also having paintings done of each dog. He made it sound like one thing had something to do with the other, like he was giving me some big important clue.
He was.
But I just figured he was playing games, trying to lure me back with mystery and intrigue. I told him to buzz off. Maybe I shouldn't have.
Did he say what he was going to do with the paintings?
He said he was going to hang them in the speakeasy, and I'm sure that's precisely what he did.
Can you remember anything about Malone's dogs that might suggest where he hid the gold?
I stayed away from his dogs. They made me nervous, always jumping around, barking at this or that. The only one I liked was, what was his name? Iggy! I liked Iggy because he was nice and quiet. He just lay on the porch all day and didn't make a peep.
Sounds like the kind of dog I would like. I didn't grow up with dogs, so I find them a bit too rambunctious. I'm not used to them. So Iggy sounds like a good companion for me.
Do you know anything about the safe that's in the cellar of his house at Moon Lake?
You must be talking about the wall safe. That was Willie's. By Willie, I mean William Akers, one of the guys who worked for Mickey.
Which we already established, so that's sort of poorly done, unfortunately. Sort of a continuity error.
What can you tell me about William Akers?
He was Mickey's most trusted employee. Mickey treated all his other men like dirt, but not Willie. He honestly liked Willie, respected him, trusted him implicitly.
It's been fun talking to you.
I'll be suing you.
Okay. So, do I deal with the pictures? Yeah, while I'm here, I guess I will go take the rest of the bird pictures that I can. It's only 2. And then I'll go speak with Jeff Akers. Cardinal, there ye be. Suddenly dressed up in camo. And then let's go find that tanager again. Beautiful bird. Cool. I went too far, didn't I? No, I didn't. Okie dokie.
I apologize for my previous behavior. As a park ranger, I strive to keep my personal feelings in check at all times, and that time I failed. It's my duty as a public servant to try to make it up to you. What would you like to know?
Did your grandfather ever find any gold on Malone's property?
If he did, he never spent it. He wasn't poor when he died, but he certainly wasn't rich.
What can you tell me about the gold that Malone supposedly buried on his property?
As far as I know, it doesn't exist. It's just one of those rumors people want to believe, so they do.
Thanks for all your help.
Always a pleasure.
I don't like that it ends the conversation, but I have more to say. So.
Hello again, Miss Drew. Am I in for another interrogation?
I'd like to mail this photo to the woman in Las Vegas. Can you do that for me?
As always, I'm here to serve, Miss Drew. Just give it to me, and I'll take care of it. I'm sure she'll be very pleased to get this back.
I finished putting all those envelopes in order.
Excellent. Thank you, Miss Drew. And to show my gratitude, I've got something for you.
Chances are it isn't a paycheck.
No, it's an honorary junior park ranger pin. I keep them on hand so I can give them out to children whom I see demonstrating respect for park rules and regulations. A little bit of positive reinforcement.
It's a really sweet gesture. I like it.
Unfortunately, I don't get to give them out that often.
Oh, gee, thanks, Ranger Acres. Thanks for all your help.
That's why I'm here.
Okay. So, next thing to do is to change the time again. There's all this moving around and back and forth between daytime and nighttime. I need to go speak with Red again. So that's what I'm gonna do. It didn't really occur to me until I started, talking out loud while doing this playthrough that, yeah, there's a lot of back and forth in this game, which happens in other games too, and I tend to find it really kind of annoying. It's not terrible in this game, but yeah, lots of back and forth between locations and times.
How's the bird watching coming along?
I just can't seem to find a red-tailed hawk. Any suggestions?
Well, there's gotta be lots around here. You haven't been going around wearing sunglasses and earmuffs, have you?
No, Red, I haven't.
Well, according to my bird map, they like to nest in the big tree that's just to the southwest of the Malone house. I suggest you park yourself nearby and wait. Bound to spot one sooner or later.
Okay.
Mickey Malone supposedly buried a bunch of stolen gold bars on his property way back in the 20s. Did you know that?
Really? That's interesting. I don't much care, but it's interesting.
This makes me laugh because it reminds me. So I think I mentioned this once before. I used to be an operator. Someone one time had asked me a question. I can't remember what it was about, and I was answering them. But we weren't really getting to an answer that would help them. Like, I think it was just outside of sort of my knowledge base. I would have had to forward them on. The person on the other end was like, "You're really sweet, but you weren't any help at all." Like, kind of like this. And like, I mean, it wasn't meant to be rude or anything. It was really funny, and that's what this reminded me of. Oh man.
So you don't know anything about it?
Nope.
See you in a while.
Shh. Down a notch. Remember.
Yeah. As he would say. I like this track too. Won't get to hear it for very long because I'm going to change the time. And we want AM. Okay, so now we get to take, or try, to take a picture of the last bird for Red. Try being the operative word.
Well, I don't see any hawks, but this is probably the tree Red was talking about. At least it was the tree. That sounded like a hawk.
And there it be.
There it is. I better get a picture before it takes off. Hey, what is that hawk standing on? Oh, that looks like a speaker. Huh? I better get out of here. My arms and legs are tied. I can't move. At least I can kick. If I could just get that scythe down, I could use the blade to cut the rope around my wrists and free my hands.
I have a terrible and funny story about this, but I'll get to it later. Because this is kind of time sensitive. I did this wrong. I know I did. Yes, I'm going to do a second chance because I already knocked the thing over. Okay, that was dumb. I haven't done that in a long time. So actually, before I do the second chance, I'll tell this story. So when I was a kid, I had loaned 2 games to a friend of mine, The Final Scene and Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. And I don't think she really got into The Final Scene. Her older brother did. I remember her telling me that he picked it up and like played it really quickly one evening, which I thought was super funny. She was playing Ghost Dogs and she called me because she was having issues finding the red-tailed hawk. So I told her what to do. You have to go talk to Red. And I remember hanging up the phone, and I think my dad was in the next room, and I said, she's gonna call back pretty soon. Because I knew the fire was gonna happen, and I knew she was gonna be terrified. And sure enough, a few minutes later, the phone rings. She's like, help, I'm stuck in a burning shed. But I have this, yes, this very kind of fond memory, because I knew it was going to happen. I knew she was gonna call back. I knew this was coming, and she didn't. That might be mean of me, but I didn't want to spoil it for her. Okay, let's do this correctly this time. Good gravy. Do I not know how to do this? There we go. Oh, I have to be careful about where that falls.
I can't just let this thing burn up. I've got to put it out.
Mm-hmm. And I have a bucket already full of water.
What in blazes happened? I saw the fire from my platform and came running. You weren't in there playing with matches, were you?
No.
I was looking at birds, and then I noticed something on the house, and the next thing I knew, I was locked in the tool shed and somebody was setting it on fire.
Whoa, you're not making much sense. Probably smoke inhalation or something. Come talk to me after you've cleaned yourself up and gotten some sleep. I need to tell you something.
Somebody tried to kill you?
I didn't say that.
Somebody knocked you out, locked you in a shed, set it on fire, and you think they were, what, just pulling a prank? Wake up and smell the hostile vibes, Nancy.
I guess it's just hard for me to believe that anybody would consider me to be that big a threat.
I should have never let you stay there by yourself.
Sally, I'm fine. I feel bad about your tool shed, though.
Who cares about the shed? It was full of junk anyway. I'm glad to be rid of it.
That's kind of the way Ranger Akers saw it, too. He showed up right after the birdwatcher did and ticketed me for burning refuse in a manner that endangered park property.
That man is insufferable.
Emily was nice, though. She came by right afterwards and wouldn't leave until I drank the tea she made for me.
Look, Nancy, one more time. If you want to leave, just say the word and I'll come get you.
Sally, one more time. I'm fine.
Well, then promise me you'll be careful, okay?
I promise. I'll be in touch.
You better.
Yeah, that was pretty scary and intense. Okay. Red wanted to talk, but I probably can't see him right now because it's daytime. Let's go talk to everybody else. No, not yet. Before I forget. This. And the speaker's gone. Okay. Now, let's go talk to the others. I'll start with Emily.
Nice Junior Park Ranger pen. You must really be on Acre's good side.
Can't even talk about the fire.
Guess I'll see you later.
I guess you will.
It seems like a missed opportunity. Don't even know if I can talk to Jeff about the fire, but hopefully I'll have that key from Vivian.
A package just arrived for you from Las Vegas.
Yes. I like that
Great.
stamp.
Vivian sent me the key.
I'll dispose of the package.
Yes, this would be from Beach Hill from the previous game.
Wouldn't want to break any littering laws, would we?
Thanks for all your help.
Not a problem.
Excellent. Okay. And now, to me, this is sort of when all the really fun, cool stuff happens. The only other thing that I thought was kind of fun is I like doing the dog season stuff before this point. Anything associated with the dogs I think is kind of neat. But all the other running around and errands, which were not actually done, I do find a little boring, kind of irritating. So now we're getting into the storyline, the heart of it. Nancy in the game doesn't know what to do with those spinning letters, so we have to go make a phone call. One of my all-time favorite phone calls in any of the games in the Nancy Drew series. I love this part. I said Vivian is one of my phone characters, but there's another phone character I like even more. And we will speak with her shortly.
Hello?
Is this Vivian?
No, this is your station dropper.
Yay.
Vivian's fixing snacks in the kitchen.
Oh my gosh, Eustacia and Drop-Off? Harry Houdini's cousin?
Use the air horn like I showed you.
No, Eustacia, wait. It's Nancy Drew. I talked to you on the phone a couple of months ago, just after a friend of mine was kidnapped in St. Louis. I asked you questions about the theater where the kidnapping took place, the Royal Palladium, remember?
Nancy Drew, the Snoopy one. You're not dead yet?
I love this.
No.
Most people, I talk to them one day, next day they're dead. It is an old age thing. Oh, stop being so morbid here. Have some clam dip. Hello? Nancy? So you know Eustacia, huh? Small world. Well, what's up?
Yeah, this line. Nancy Drew, the Snoopy one. You're not dead yet? My sister and I quote this all the time. I just love this line.
I got the key you sent me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. There's just one thing. It doesn't seem to work.
Oh, where is my brain?
There's that line.
The key unlocks the letters of the inscription. Just dial in the password and you'll be set.
There's just one more thing.
You don't know the password. I'm sorry. Eustacia and I've been playing canasta all day, and I guess beating her all those times took more out of my brain than I thought. Next game, I win. Next game, loser pays for pizza. Well, get out your wallet, sister, because you're going down. So, where were we? Oh yeah, the password. Let's see. It was the name of that federal agent, his first name.
Waldo?
No, not his real first name. What Mickey was always calling him. Baldo. That was it, Baldo. I always thought it was mean to call him that, especially since Mickey was starting to get a little sparse on top himself.
So I just turn the letters until they spell Baldo?
Yes, dear, but like almost everything else in life, it's trickier than it sounds.
Are there any other tricks to getting into the speakeasy that I should know about?
I suppose it's only fair to warn you about the tunnels, and the doors, and the dead ends.
Tunnels? You mean there's more than one way to get to the speakeasy from the cemetery?
Mickey had his men dig a bunch of tunnels between the speakeasy and the cemetery with hidden doors that opened when other doors closed, and lots of dead ends, so that if the speakeasy was ever raided, his guests could hide from the police. I was always terrified of getting lost, but you're a plucky girl. I'm sure you'll be fine.
Thanks, Vivian.
It's been fun talking to you.
Anytime.
Alrighty. Resisting the urge to hum along with the music. I like these tracks. They're really fitting. They suit the environment really well. Affect that one. Affect that one. Well, that was fine, but you do on your own. Okay. What are you doing with those? Oh, how do I do this one? Back to the beginning. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Where's the B? It's on that side. Okay. That means 1, 2. That doesn't help this. Nope. Oh man. That's okay. I figured it out. Maldo. But I'm gonna have to do it again.
It's too dark. I need a flashlight. Oh, the batteries are going dead. I can't see a thing. I'd better go back.
Turn around. With the flashlight. No. No. Where was it? There it is. Okay. That was the wrong way. So now, run around again. Need some batteries. Means doing a task for him. I don't mind this task actually. I quite like this one. To me it's easy. It's simple and you don't have to go anywhere.
How you holding up?
I need flashlight batteries. Do you carry them?
Yep. But you know, I've been meaning to make a pretty display out of them packs of combo coal over there for the longest time. Just can't seem to get around to it.
In other words, you'd like me to give it a shot.
Here's the way it should look when you're done.
A fish. Thanks for all the fish. There we go. Okay. let's see, we need a whole bunch of green. Green, yellow, and one purple in the corner. Green, orange, yellow, green, orange, orange, green, one orange, yellow. Will I remember that? It's not that one. Here at the bottom. Here, there. Over here, and then there's green with purple in the corner, which is probably this piece. Will the game let me pick it up? Oh no, is this going to be another instance of me having to play this that you guys seen? Yep, that's the piece I need, but this blasted recording bar is in me way. Well, I'll do that piece last. That's fine. That's the next I need. So big L purple and then two purples. L purple. Oh, which way did those go? Oh, it was an L with yellow. Two purple. There. Yes. Okay, that's fine. Two orange, and then backwards L blue. Can I pick this one up? Oh, this is mean. Yep, that one has to go there. Okay, we'll get that piece later. Purple in the middle, purple in the corner. There we go. Two reds, two blues, two diagonal reds. And blues. Which way? That way, okay. So a bunch of yellow with some purple. Orange, red, and yellow. Oh dear. Oh, that's probably this one. Is that what it was? Probably. Oh, it let me move it. Ah, brilliant. Okay, you went there. Oh, I might be able to do this without having to change the recording thing. Yes, success. Okay. I say orange with red there. Yeah, thought I had to rotate that. Okay, and then just this last side. There we go. Excellent.
Ta-da! One smiling goldfish. It's obviously never tried combo cola.
Brilliant, and I didn't even have to stop the recording. That's weird. I couldn't pick this up on its own, but if I had another one already picked up, I could swap it. This invisible recording bar you can't see is a really confounding thing. Oh well, whatever. It's fine, it worked out.
Hey, Nancy, this mean you got them cans stacked?
You bet. They look just like the picture you gave me, which you can have back.
Here's your batteries, and thanks, Nancy.
Here are. That's grammatically, that should be apostrophe RE for here are your batteries because it's plural, which I mentioned earlier. I mean, it suits her character. When I pointed it out earlier, it was for Ranger Acres, who otherwise seemed to practice good English grammar. So that bothered me more with him. Okay, back to sounds, so that we can get back to the cemetery to open that hidden entrance again. Come on. This should be the last time I have to do this. Which sort of really goes to show where we are in the game. Shouldn't have to speak with anyone else again. Okay. No, I've done this wrong. Oh dear, I really did that wrong. I'll go. Oh, no, that was fine. I accidentally did this properly. Fantastic. I love it when that happens.
It's silly to try to explore this in the dark.
I concur. And that's why we have the flashlight. And go this way. It's pretty much a straight shot. Okay, that was done. Hold on to that. And then
So
go in.
this is the speakeasy. Wow.
Pretty nice space. And I love all these posters. Again, they just add to this atmosphere. Hi, Iggy. Alright. Iggy is yellow. Another thing that's very important.
Those must be the spigots William Akers mentioned in his journal. If map is correct, the tree where Vitus would bark at the hawks used to be right about here.
Right? Yep. Cool. And Vitus is wearing blue. My favorite color. There's Waldo Matthias.
Ah, he's so cute.
Xander is wearing red. Which means Lucy will be green. Let's unlock the spigots now, since I'm here.
So Lucy would swim out to the shipwreck, which is about here.
Here, yep. And yep, Lucy wearing green. I suppose I could take this off. But doesn't matter. Okay, so now for the spigots. This is one of the easiest puzzles. There might be a faster way, but this is the way I know it. Pull that once and click this and do that 3 times for every single spigot. That will solve the puzzle. So that was 2. So do one more. This is red, so it should wind up on an X. Yep, there we go. So now blue. I actually forgot to write down green for Lucy. The second time. A third time should give us a V for Vitus. There we go. And repeat. Like this works for every single one, just 3 times. But if you click this thing 3 times in a row, it doesn't work. I'm pretty sure I've tried that and it just messed everything up. That should get us I. Maybe. And eventually we'll get L for Lucy. There we go. Brilliant. That's all we have to do in here. I love this picture, by the way. Picture of the dogs at the door,
It's too
on the
dark.
hidden door. I know, it's fine. And there you can see the light up ahead. So that's how you know which tunnel to take. Which was the one I didn't have? I think it's Xander. Who's red? There we go.
Xander played by the pump, which is right here.
Yes, indeed. And I don't have to do this, but I'm choosing to. Sort of pretending like it's the first time I've played this game, and I always do this. You can hear the dogs. Okay, so now, I'm not going to bother going down the other one. Need to find the right map. Is it this one? I think it is. Okay, I know it's a whole bunch of diagonals. I just have to look at the map. So under that, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. These two are kind of light anyways, so you can kind of help with the which ones to press.
That doesn't sound good.
And I know I call those moves diagonals. I don't know why. It's like when you're moving a knight in chess, it's actually an L kind of shape.
It's some kind of lock. It's some kind of lock.
Now, if I went the other way, we'd see the door that I came in is locked, but now this one is open. What a neat space this is. It's kind of creepy and also super cool.
So you're the ghost dogs. You look pretty real to me.
Mm-hmm. Cute.
These dogs have been trained to act vicious on command.
Yep. That's how it makes the teeth glow. We need that key. Journal, kind of, in my view, kind of helps us figure out who is behind the ghost dogs. Pretty.
That's the speaker I saw in the house.
Yep. To make the eyes glow, or seemingly like the eyes are glowing.
I bet the dogs attacked Sally's house because a high-frequency signal was transmitted to them through the speaker I saw on the roof. You've been trained to respond to a silent signal from this thing, haven't you?
That's funny, she says from this thing, but she's not actually holding it. She didn't collect those items and put them in her inventory. Okay. So now, you're pretty near the end. Just the last few things to do. Get this wheel.
The wheel is gone.
Water level is full. We want to lower it. I don't know which one we turn first.
It's locked. It's locked.
It is the other one. Of course, it's what I thought, but did I do it?
No.
One more. Okay. And then take this, because I know I need it. Ooh, exciting. I know I'm right near the end. And it still gives me chills, despite the fact that I've played this game, probably 20 times, if not more. Okay, and then this puzzle again relates back to the dogs. So we know their colors, relates to the dogs and Roman numerals. So green was associated with Lucy. Lucy starts with an L. L in Roman numerals is 50. So that has to become 50. But of course, as you click one of these, the others change as well. Red is Xander, which is an X, which is 10. The funny thing is I know I need to start at the end, and yet I always start this way. Blue is Vitus, which is V, which is 05. Which means yellow is Iggy, which is 01. Again, blue is Vitus, so that's 5. That's probably the one I would do last. 10. There we go. Actually, perfect. Ooh, I get chills because I know I'm at the end. Very, very end.
600 pounds of gold bullion. Wow.
Imagine if you found that. Crazy.
Hey there, Nancy. Why, what on earth have we got here?
We're gonna run away. First time I played this, I kept like clicking backwards and not coming up over here. I kept coming up back in that room.
There's plenty of gold here. We can share. Open the
Nah.
door! Nancy, wait. Let's talk about this. This can just be our little secret. You scratch my back, I scratch yours, remember? Nancy?
The gold's all yours, Em. Enjoy it while you can. Dear Ned, as soon as I got out of the tunnels, Emily had left a door open. I called the sheriff. But when I led him back down the well to the room where I'd left Emily, she refused to leave. He and his deputies finally got her out, but one of them said afterward that if he had to choose between getting a bear away from her cub and getting Emily away from that gold, he'd pick the bear. What's worse, by the time they took Emily away, the place was swarming with reporters from all over the country. The commotion has scared away every bird for miles. I'm pretty sure Red Knot would like to strangle me.
Poor Red.
On the other hand, when Ranger Akers found out that 7 cars and 2 helicopters were illegally parked on park property and that he was going to get to ticket them, he was ecstatic.
Oh man.
Tucker Davis finally cleared away that dead tree, which means I'm free to drive home. Moon Lake is beautiful, but I've had enough wildlife for now. Which reminds me, did I mention that those 4 ghost dogs are actually very sweet? They're so sweet, in fact, that Sally is seriously thinking about adopting them. How's that for irony? Ever yours, Nancy.
And trailer.
Bess, hi, it's Nancy. I'm at this little amusement park on the coast. I wish I could say I was having a wonderful time, but the fact is, some pretty spooky things have been happening here. There have been some strange accidents, and the carousel, it starts up in the dead of night all by itself, like it's haunted or something. You know me, I don't get scared very easily, but I saw it myself, and I'll call you later. I've gotta go right now.
Spooky. There we go. That is a playthrough of Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake. That ending, I sort of only just realized, is actually rather anticlimactic. Like it's exciting when you get to the ending. I love opening up the well and going down and solving that last puzzle and finding the gold. But then when Emily shows up, there's not actually a lot you have to do. Or maybe it just feels like there isn't a lot because I know how to do it. You run back into the room, close the door, go through the sewer, come back up, close the door on her, climb up the stairs, and that's the end. So it's sort of not a very exciting, true ending when you're confronting the culprit. But otherwise, I really like this setting. I like the story. I like this story of a gangster. I think it's kind of cool. Different from the previous games, which I always like, and is really easy at the beginning of the series. All the games are quite different from one another. They all are fairly unique. The thing I like the most about this game, though, is absolutely the setting. I love how much time is spent outdoors. I really appreciate that Nancy's not in a building the whole time. She's mostly outside. She's taking a walk in the woods. I mean, it's a little sketchy that she does that a couple times at night when there are ghost dogs on the prowl. But otherwise, I think it's beautiful, and I don't think that there are enough games set outdoors. I've had this idea for a game based on a book, based on one of the is it Nancy Drew and Hardy Boy's Super Mystery? Yes, I had to think about this for a minute. But it's set outdoors. It's sort of a hiking setting or storyline, and I think that book would make a great game. I just want to see more like this. The only other one I can think of is the Shattered Medallion, and I don't like that game. It's really a letdown. So I really appreciate this game for all the time spent outdoors and just that setting, and for me it's really relaxing. I enjoy it very much, despite the ghost dogs. But yes, I loved this game when I first played it. It almost knocked Treasure in the Royal Tower out as my top game. It was a good competitor. And yeah, it's one I like playing a bunch. So I'm going to just break down different elements fairly quickly. The music, it's a good soundtrack. I don't, rave about it as much as some of the other games. Like when I was playing the last one, Secret of the Scarlet Hand, all I could talk about was the music. This music, I think, suits the game really, really well, and I really like that. It's not astounding, but it doesn't mean that it's unremarkable either. I do think it's really good. It fits the game perfectly. I like that this game only has 3 suspects. It's very different from the other games, so it's a smaller pool of people to be concerned about, but I like it just because it's unique. We didn't need a 4th person. Maybe it would have given more to the game, but I don't think it was necessary. The 3 characters worked perfectly. I really liked the phone conversations. I liked Sally. I liked Vivian. I love the return of Eustacia. For those who've played the final scene, you'll understand sort of who she is, and I just thought that was brilliant. I love that her interactive did that. What else to talk about? So it's another treasure hunt story. There are quite a few of those in this series, but I like it. You know what? I enjoy this story that led to the treasure hunt. So again, that goes back to Mickey Malone and this story of a gangster and his speakeasy beneath the house. I really like that. Coming in through the cemetery, which is kind of ghastly but fantastic. So it's great. It's a really good game. It gives me much pleasure when I play it. I don't have too many negatives. The only things that sort of irk me, and this is mostly while doing this playthrough because I'm thinking a little bit more about everything I'm doing and talking it through, but it's all this back and forth. You go from Sally's to M's or to the ranger station or all of them, and it takes some time because we see the boat move across the lake, so it is kind of time consuming. And same thing when we want to speak with Red, we have to change the time of day. So yeah, so sort of all this back and forth, and then we have a few more tasks that we have to do which involve, again, this back and forth motion, which is sort of time consuming and not as fun as it could be or has been in some other games. So that's sort of the only downside is, all the back and forth, the time it takes to do these errands. They feel like errands. And errands aren't fun. Who enjoys running errands, honestly? But anyways, that's really the only criticism I have to offer. Otherwise, I think it's a great game. I love it. I love the outdoor setting. It makes me want to go camping. Only our weather here was nicer. It's been kind of a cool spring. But maybe in the summer. That would be great. Alright, thank you very much for watching. I hope you